Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Starfire here in Tukwila. My name's Ross Fletcher, and we're set for Seattle Sounders' second MLS Reserve League game of 2014. Bright and breezy conditions here. Flags fluttering all around this stadium. We had a big downpour of rain around an hour or so ago, but patchwork blue sky and fluffy clouds, the floodlights are on, and we have a dedicated band of Sounders fans, more making their way in right now as we're just a couple of minutes away from kickoff. The Sounders coming off that tremendous Major League Soccer victory yesterday by the first team. A 4-1 thumping of Colorado Rapids, who are the reserve opposition today. The second game, of course, because Seattle beat Chivas USA 3-2 last week down in sunny Southern California. Let's bring you the two teams then. And for Seattle Sounders, one of the things you really notice is that the second 11 is incredibly strong in relative terms. Marcus Hannemann, the veteran experience, is in goal. The back four from the right-hand side is the US right back, Brad Evans. So that's not bad for a start. Zach Scott in the middle of defence, the captain today, the 33-year-old. Huge experience for him, alongside Jalil Anibaba. On the left-hand side is young Aaron Kovar, nominally known as a winger, but playing at left back today. In midfield on the right is Michael Azira. On the left will be Tristan Bowen. Through the middle, Sean O'Coley and Andy Rose. Then up front, Chad Barrett and Kenny Cooper. What a tandem that is for your reserve lineup. For Colorado Rapids, it is a less experienced lineup. John Burner, the 23-year-old, in goal. Their back four from right to left. Courtney Ford, Marvell Wynn, Brenton Griffiths and John Neeskins. A diamond midfield, as they employed yesterday. Jared Watts at the base. Charles Alundu at the front of it. Giovanni Chavez and Marlon Hairston on the right and left respectively. Up front, Kamani Hill and Danny Mwanga. Our referee is Josh Wilkins. Seattle get us going, kicking from left to right. And it's Andy Rose who'll knock it long and put the first test for the Colorado defence. It's left by Courtney Ford. He allowed it to bounce, and Seattle almost made something from that. We're on the artificial field turf surface here at Starfire, and the stands are bedecked in rave green. It's with Colorado Rapids on the halfway line. Turned back in favour of Seattle, but they've lost it again, and now it's Charles Alundu, one of those Colorado Rapids members in his first season with the club, looking to make an impression as Brad Evans loses out here. Down his own right-hand side, it's Neeskins forward into the area for Kamani Hill, and then tidied up by Jalil Anibaba, who will thrash that one over halfway. It takes one bounce and goes out of play on the Seattle Sounders right. Not often you see the US right back playing in a reserve Major League Soccer game, but Brad Evans is in that position, working his way back to full match fitness, having missed a series of Sounders first team games because of the calf problem picked up in the second match of the season at home to Toronto FC. He has come on for a couple of recent games, but here hoping to get 90 minutes under his belt, but he's beaten off the ball by Marlon Hairston, who gets in for a shot near post, and it's turned behind by Marcus Hannemann. It's a couple of shaky moments for Brad Evans early on, and we saw yesterday Hairston has good pace. He came on as a sub and caused a couple of problems, fizzed one over the bar from about 25 yards. And early on, Colorado trying to set the tempo. Corner from the left-hand side, and it's an easy take for Marcus Hannemann, who's all in white today. Mentioned the Sounders in the rave green, Colorado in their burgundy and white. It's in the middle of the park now for Seattle. Work to the right, and Chad Barrett back again to Brad Evans, wearing bright pink-orange boots. Back again for Barrett, and then across the back line for Zach Scott. Feeds it with his left boot to the left wing and Tristan Bowen. He has Kovar on the overlap, finds him. It's a really good run by the youngster, but the cross comes to the near post, and it's defended behind by Brenton Griffiths. And Seattle Sounders will have their first corner of the game. Good link-up play that time by Tristan Bowen and Aaron Kovar. And we saw the pace that the 20-year-old homegrown player has. So corner from the left-hand side, and Kovar will take it up towards Andy Barber. Gets it on, it's in! It's Chad Barrett who flicks it home from 2 yards. The flag stayed down, and the poacher strikes on 3 minutes. Chad Barrett makes it Seattle Sounders reserves 1, Colorado Rapids reserves 0. Well, it was simple as you like. The corner swung in from the left by Aaron Kovar. The first header won by Jalil Anibaba. And like all good strikers should do, Barrett stayed alive to the play. And he had the very simple task of nodding the ball in. The Sounders got real joy from set pieces yesterday against the Rapids. Most notably, Clint Dempsey's headed goal from Chad Marshall's knockdown from a corner. And they're setting their early stall out here. Here they come, long shot driven in through the middle by Tristan Bowen from 25 yards, and that's comfortably taken by John Berner, who started the season as the number 1 for Colorado because of an injury to their usual incumbent Clint Irwin. 3 of the first games of the 2014 regular season under his belt, so he has a little bit of early season form under his belt. And now it's Colorado who'll try and come forwards down their left-hand side with Marlon Hairston just over halfway. Kamani Hill is forced backwards inside his own half, and Brenton Griffiths. Griffiths is tackled by Barrett, has to face up against his own goal, plays it to the right-hand side, and Courtney Ford, who goes over halfway to Kamani Hill in a little bit of space. Up towards Charles Ilundu, who loses the ball under his feet. And it's a simple possession now for the Sounders along their back line. Annie Barber into Zach Scott. Those two are the central defensive tandem. Zach Scott now in his 13th season overall with Seattle Sounders FC, his 6th in Major League Soccer. No one has given longer service than him. Sean Okoli down the right wing, one-on-one with Griffiths, and he wins the second corner of the afternoon for the Sounders. Well, another goal from a situation like this would do very nicely. No Chad Marshall in there as the obvious target man. He wins everything in the air for the Sounders, but they have plenty of height. Kenny Cooper for 1, Jalil Anibaba and Andy Rose all above 6 feet. Zach Scott is a powerful, muscular presence too. It's Kovar's in-swinging corner. Hairston heads it behind. It will be another corner from where we've just come from. So 6 minutes played at Starfire. It's 1-0 to the Sounders reserves here on SoundersFC.com. Every Colorado man is back inside their own box as it goes to the middle of the area, and it's headed out by Jared Watts. Back to Kovar on the right, floats it in, and it's another Jared Watts header clear. And then finally, for a third time, Watts scuttles it away, and in the centre circle finds Danny Mwanga. Now out to the right-hand side, and this will be Giovanni Chavez trying to poke it into the area for an on-rushing Colorado Rapids forward. Goes through to the goalkeeper Marcus Hanneman. Quickly played by the Sounders to Kenny Cooper on halfway. Out to the right, and Sean Okoli loses it to John Neeskins, and then the piercing, shrill whistle of the referee. It's a free kick for Colorado. I think you heard that whistle. So 1-0 to Seattle in the early stages. John Neeskins on the ball for Colorado at left back. What an interesting tale. If you know your soccer history, you'll probably know the name Neeskins. Johan Neeskins, to be precise. One of the Dutch greats. Part of the Netherlands side that reached the World Cup final in 1974 and 1978. Played for Ajax of Holland, played for the great Barcelona And North American soccer aficionados will know him too from 6 years at the New York Cosmos. He's a trialist for Colorado right now at left back. It's a throw in for Seattle on their left-hand side, up to halfway. Watts and Barrett battling for it. Watts hangs it high but not forwards. And Rose heads down and Colorado will pick up possession. Here's John Neeskens again. I can't say he particularly looks like his dad. Johan was a midfielder. And here's John at left back. Marvell Wynn from deep inside the Colorado half. Up he goes to Giovanni Chavez. Colorado work it out of a tight spot until the pass from another youngster and academy man Courtney Ford is picked off by Seattle, and Chad Barrett, the goal scorer, will take over. Now Azira switching the play from left to right for Seattle on halfway with Brad Evans. Chips it down the right line, looking for the run of Kenny Cooper. Gets there ahead of Brenton Griffiths. He says the last touch came off a Colorado man, and it did. And that will be corner number 4. So Seattle moving the ball nicely, moving the ball quickly, and getting themselves some useful set-piece opportunities, which have already brought the first goal. Again, Colorado Rapids bringing every man back. They have Ilondu on the near post. And this ball will come in from Aaron Kovar, and Jared Watts gets his head on it inside the 6-yard box for Colorado. Azira gets it back, out to Kovar again, hangs a high ball. This will test the goalkeeper, and Berners got there, drops it, gets it again, and will take his time to clear this one away. Now Colorado trying to build from the back but giving it away. Seattle coming with Andy Rose to Kenny Cooper, tight on that left touchline, loses his footing in a tackle with Giovanni Chavez, and it's stabbed out of play via a Seattle deflection, and that will be a throw in for the Rapids. Mention the relative experience here. Colorado with 2 academy players out there, the right back Courtney Ford and the right midfielder Giovanni Chavez. The trialist John Neeskens. The most notable names in there: Marvell Wynn, 5th season with Colorado, playing in central defence, and Danny Mwanga. Came out of Oregon State and went to Portland, much hyped in his early career, but it's stalled since. Struggled for playing time since coming into Major League Soccer. This is 2nd season with Colorado. So the Sounders lead it by a goal to 0, 10 minutes gone. Brad Evans up to halfway, and Andy Rose gives it back to Evans. Rose again, 10 yards over halfway. It's a weak ball in field, picked off by Jared Watts, who then promptly gives it straight back to Andy Rose. Now Evans tries to play a ball forwards to Kenny Cooper. Finds him by a mistake from the defender Ford. And now Bowen, inside left channel, cuts on his right foot, blasts one way over the top of the bar. And that ball has gone so far over, it's almost gone into play on the girls under 11 game, which is going on about 50 yards behind us on one of the other field turf surfaces here at Starfire, this magnificent home of Seattle Sounders FC training, where the Sounders come and train most days during the week. Their home base, if you like. 1-0 Seattle, 11 minutes gone. You're with SoundersFC.com. I'm Ross Fletcher. Battling for the ball is Kenny Cooper. It's fallen nicely for Sean Okolie, who picks up at speed, goes down the right wing, gets into the area. His shot through the legs of the defender Griffiths and straight at Burner. But Okolie showing a real attacking threat there as the space opened up for him. Wasn't afraid to run with the ball and strike. And Seattle getting some reasonable opportunities early on. There was that early flutter when Marlon Hairston got through to the near post and forced a save, a regulation save out of Marcus Hanneman, who again has to come and make a save comfortably down to his right. This one from a Marlon Hairston shot from all of 28-29 yards. So Hanneman out of his goal to kick long. It goes over Andy Rose and falls to Jared Watts, who's playing in the base of the midfield diamond for Colorado Rapids. As for the Sounders, they have Michael Azira and Andy Rose in the middle of the park. Sean O'Coley out on the right, Tristan Bowen out on the left. Bowen, one of those players who's battling for minutes. He started the season injured, couldn't play for a couple of weeks, and since then the Sounders have just been so good coming forwards and scoring a bucket load of goals that he hasn't been able to force his way into the first team. It is a strong squad this year. You only have to look at the forwards in front of him, Barrett and Cooper, starting today to know that. It's fallen to Kenny Cooper, central field, out to the right, into the box now for Chad Barrett. Miscontrols, but time to put a cross in from the byline, near post, and battered away first time by Marvell Wynn for a Sounders throw in. John Neeskin struggling out of position there as Seattle found the space down the right-hand side. Something they did very well in the game yesterday in Major League Soccer against Colorado was expose the space that the Rapids offered from wide positions. Colorado setting up in the midfield diamond as Evans throws in, that's caught by the goalkeeper Burner. Colorado compacting the middle of the park. They were very narrow in midfield as Andy Barbar wins the ball, and the forward Lundu just bangs into him but wins the free kick. Rather bizarrely. But going back to my earlier point, Colorado packing the middle of the park, so they left space wide, and that's exactly where Seattle were able to hurt them on numerous occasions when the fullbacks DeAndre Yedlin and Dylan Remick got forwards and supported their midfield to very good effect. Colorado employing the same system today. Marcus Hanneman kicks long first time, feet only, and that goes all the way through to Brenton Griffiths, who plays a carefully scraped back header to his keeper John Burner. Bowls it low to the left and John Neeskin. Seattle lead, 15 minutes gone, 1-0 to the Sounders reserves, who are playing through the middle here with Andy Rose. Cut out by Neeskins, who's given it straight back to Rose. Rose then puts Brad Evans in a tight spot, manages to find Andy Barbar, and Azira now will spray it to the left, and Kovar chips it over the top. Bowen's made a good run. He's got in behind Courtney Ford. It's right at the corner flag where he keeps it in. Ford comes tight to him. Bowen spins backwards to Kovar on the touchline. Early ball's a really good one. Brenton Griffiths with a poor header. Barrett has a shot into the side netting from 12 yards out on the right angle. Burner, the goalkeeper, came for the cross. It was a wicked one. I don't know whether there was a call though, because Brenton Griffiths, the central defender, went up, got his head on it, and it laid the chance on a platter for Chad Barrett, who was only a couple of yards off it there. He very nearly made it 2-0 to Seattle Sounders. And that's twice Aaron Kovar has made telling contributions with a cross. The first from a set piece, the corner for the goal, and second there from open play. That's precisely what these reserve matches are for, to give the younger players and those not getting first team minutes the opportunity to get out there in a game situation against quality relative opposition and see what they can do, maintain fitness and build. Now Cooper, really good layoff for Rose. Cooper stayed down to the right hand side of the area, and Barrett has it whipped off his toes by Marlon Hairston. Cooper takes a moment to get back up as Colorado clear it now. Hairston into the middle, and Charles Ilundu, the Cameroonian, who's pushed to the floor by Rose, but no foul, says the referee, as Rose came in from behind in the centre circle and gets Seattle going again. Plays a quick 1-2 up towards Bowen. Ball control allows Watts to clear to halfway for Colorado. Hairston over the top to no one in particular. And time and space for Jaleel Annie Barbar on the back line for Seattle Sounders reserves. Barrett wins a throw in. Young ball boy throws on back in for Brad Evans. In the mild to warm sunshine, it is a little bit breezy here at Starfire. You can see the advertising hoardings flapping in the breeze as Evans throws in. Gets it back, lobs it down the right line. Now O'Coley, muscled off the ball by Brenton Griffiths, who is then fouled by Sean O'Coley. And that will be a free kick for Colorado Rapids. It'll be taken by John Neeskens, who eventually leaves it, in fact, for Brenton Griffiths. Colorado don't particularly want to play their way through. New brand of football being pushed forwards by their first-year head coach Pablo Mastroeni this year, moving to that midfield diamond. I've been talking a lot about that in the old days of Oscar Pareja, who spent 2 largely relatively successful years there, as Andy Rose comes and wins the ball in a very good area. There's Jared Watts dawdled on it, and it breaks kindly for Colorado and their goalkeeper John Berner, who picks up. But good, tenacious harrying and pressing from Andy Rose. Another one of those players who's found it hard to come by first team minutes this year. Such is the strength of the Sounders' first 11. Rose in his 3rd year with Seattle. Okoli's defending near his own area. Takes a tumble from a foul by John Neeskens. And a free kick for the Sounders, leading by a goal to 0. 19 minutes gone. Chad Barrett on 3 minutes with a good close-range header. Real sniping striker stuff. Just looking over to the Sounders bench on the far side. Ezra Hendrickson in charge, the reserve team coach. Standing on the edge of his technical area, issuing instructions. Brian Schmetzer, the top assistant, is also there today. The Seattle win an attacking throw-in. Sean Okoli doing his best to pressurise John Neeskens, who puts the ball out of play. It'll be a throw-in for Evans. Plenty in the box to pick out here. It's gone near post towards Rose. Headed away by Neeskens, and then an overhead kick by Sean Okoli. Punched away by the goalkeeper Berner. It was wide of the goal. Now Evans, good left foot cross. Marvell Wynn gets a solid header away for Colorado, who are being put under some pressure now by Seattle. Evans wide right to Cooper, flicks it further down the line for Okoli, gets a push from the defender, keeps it in play, gets a cross in there, forces Wynn to clear at the near post. Colorado can play their way out, and Watts down the left-hand side to Kamani Hill. Back he goes to Hairston on the left wing, chips over halfway, asking Mwanga to run. Beaten to the ball by Zach Scott. And then Brad Evans tidies up, takes no chances, goes back to his goalkeeper Marcus Hanneman. Danny Mwanga yet to get in the game for the Rapids. It's been Seattle who've been the brighter of the two teams. Barrett with the goal, also hitting the side netting. Tristan Bone with a shot at the goalkeeper from distance. He had one he blasted over, and Sean Okoli from just outside of the area had a good driving effort that Berner comfortably saved. Colorado, Marlon Hairston's had a half chance, maybe more, at the near post that was dealt with by Hanneman, and also hit one from distance at the veteran goalkeeper. So it's 1-0 to Seattle with 21 minutes gone. Here with SoundersFC.com. It's John Neeskens from left back for Colorado. He's pushed high up the field. Now Watts to the right-hand side, and Courtney Ford, the academy fullback for Colorado. Back to Marvell Wynn, who takes on Chad Barrett. Low percentage play, but getting away with it. And now Kamani Hill inside the Colorado half. To the right, and Courtney Ford. Pulls it back to Wynn. And again, a very dangerous crossfield ball that was just out of the reaches of Kenny Cooper. Marvell Wynn hasn't seen first team action for Colorado since being sent off in the third game of the season against Sporting Kansas City for a couple of yellow cards. Sounders doing a good job of pressing the opposition here, not giving them any room to play over halfway. Sounders have found their rhythm, Colorado haven't. This is Charles Alundu, 19-year-old, out to the left, and Neeskens. It's a poor ball in field, looking for Mwanga, tidied up by Zach Scott, goes back to Marcus Hanneman, who bangs it first time long down the middle. Poor back header by Brenton Griffiths. Chad Barrett is in, takes it down and miscontrols it. He was 16 yards out. I thought he might hit that first time, but instead tried to control a very high, difficult ball, and John Berner will tidy up in the Colorado goal. It would have been a spectacular goal if he could have scored it. but it remains the Sounders a goal to the good. You can probably hear the wind whipping on our effects mics as Evans plays a long 60-yard crossfield pass to the toe of Tristan Bowen. Keeps it in with a back heel. Is tackled by Courtney Ford, the right back. And that comes last off the Sounders man. It will be a throw in for Colorado Rapids. Tristan Bowen arriving to the Sounders after 3 years at Chivas USA. He was, before that, LA Galaxy's first homegrown player in 2009. Stayed there for another year before moving on. Didn't have to go far, of course, staying at the old Home Depot Center. But Seattle will look to give him minutes, as we've said, in these reserve games to see what he can produce in that wing position. I remember him scoring a tremendous long-range goal, Tristan Bowen, at Vancouver last year. June the 19th, to be precise. So he has ability. Trying to show it today to get in the thoughts of head coach Ziggy Schmidt. Barrett from the left-hand side heads in field. It falls for Colorado and Jared Watts. Plays it to the central defender Brenton Griffiths. Out to the left in Neeskins, who's over halfway through the legs of Okoli, but tidied up by Andy Rose. Quickly finds Cooper. First time left to Okoli. Shows too much of the ball to Jared Watts. On halfway, and Colorado come forwards. Alondu lays off to Hairston. And then Bowen is back to win the ball. Good intelligent work from the left midfielder. And again, Colorado are struggling to put passes together through the middle of the park. The Sounders reserves work rate is very good. They are composed, they're pressing at the right times. And they're creating opportunities. Aaron Kovar from left back for Seattle. Short ball in field to Bowen, who looks up, gets towards halfway, plays it over now to Azira, flicks it past his man, finds Chad Barrett, who's come from deep, onto Kenny Cooper, heads it back towards Barrett, towed away by Marvell Wynn, recovered for Seattle by Rose, out to the right, and Okoli, one-on-one with the defender, and John Neeskins barrels into Sean Okoli, and the boy from Federal Way will get a free kick here in a good situation. It was crude from Neeskins, who wasn't able to live with the fleet of foot of Sean Okoli, and our referee Josh Wilkins will have a word. As for the first time today, a goods train rumbles past us at Starfire. And normally it'll take a minute or two for that crashing cacophony to die down. So, free kick for Seattle, out on the right. It's Aaron Kovar, two-man wall, it's a wide position. Kovar will cross it with good whip. Headed away by Brenton Griffiths, miscued shot on the edge of the area by Bowen. And Colorado get it up to the furthest forward, Charles Alundu. Breaks nicely to Hairston, the break is on. Quickly to the inside left over halfway. And Giovanni Chavez, who takes on Brad Evans, gets the ball in the box. It's cut out by Michael Azira, as Marcus Hanneman came to scoop it away, but Azira taking no chances and gets it up to Kenny Cooper in the centre circle for the Sounders. 1-0, 19 minutes to half-time. Kovar from the left-hand side, big switch to the right, and Sean Okoli, who is offside, didn't read the defensive line. It's a rather cheap free kick to give away because he could see the defenders right in front of him, and from what looked like a promising move, it's a Colorado Rapids free kick. Griffiths to the left-hand side and John Neeskins. Can't beat Okoli, who wins it back for Seattle. Evans up to Rose. His first time ball is blocked by Hairston. Now comes up to Alundu. Rose again is in there to tidy up. And goes back to Hanneman, who again bangs it long and high down the middle. Defensive header by Griffiths for Colorado. Falls for Okoli for Seattle. Skips away from Watts. Can't beat Neeskins. He dabs that one out of play for a Seattle throw. Evans up towards Okoli, made a run. Ball went the wrong way. Colorado come away with it with Hill. Over halfway to Mwanga in the centre circle. Short again to Hill. He now pierces it down the right-hand side. Chavez has got in behind Kovar. Pulls it across first time in the area. And there's absolutely no one there. It's exactly the kind of ball that Danny Mwanga should look to feed off. And the Colorado striker was 10 yards behind the play. Hairston. Dreadlocked forwards for the Rapids. Will force backwards. And Griffiths now spins away from Tristan Bowen. Okoli up to Bowen for Seattle on halfway. Fills it back to Anibaba. And now down the left for Aaron Kovar. Chad Barrett's goal, the difference so far in this second Sounders Reserves match of the season. 28 minutes gone. And now Colorado from deep with Marvell Wynn. Up to halfway. And Charles Alundu tries to find the on-rushing Marlon Hairston, who made a good run down the inside right channel. He gets a second go and turns away from Zach Scott. It's 2-on-2 in the area for Colorado. Ball into Mwanga on the edge of the box. The flag is up. Mwanga is offside. It cannoned into his knees. It almost got stuck there as Seattle averted the danger. But for the first time in a while, Colorado getting in behind the Sounders. And again, Marlon Hairston is the chief architect in trying to unlock the Seattle Sounders defense. Casey Keller was telling me how impressed he was with Marlon Hairston just this week. Keller, as a coach of the US Under-21 squad, which had a 4-day practice down in Southern California in LA, and Hairston was part of that squad, as was Sean Okoli of the Sounders. And here is Hairston from a deep position. Quarter of an hour to half-time. Seattle leading by a goal to 0. Colorado have it with their goalkeeper John Berner. Out to the left. And Brenton Griffiths, just one senior minute for him last May at San Jose. Been surpassed by the likes of Shane O'Neill, who came in as a rookie last year, was a 19-year-old and did superbly well for Colorado, forming that tandem for the first team alongside Drew Moore. Throw for Seattle, attacking position on the left. Okoli into Barrett, pulls it back for Cooper. 4 burgundy shirts around him, win the ball back and now break. But Watts has played it too softly for Hairston. Azira picks up, tries to flick it into the area for Barrett. Wynn comes in there with that strong, broad chest to deflect it clear. And now Colorado will break. Kamani Hill down the Colorado left, and Brad Evans gets there ahead of Alundu and concedes corner number 2 for Colorado Rapids. And this will allow the likes of Marvell Wynn to come forwards, and Brenton Griffiths. They have a bit of height to Colorado. Wynn isn't a particularly tall man, but he's strong and powerful. Griffiths is. He's 6'3". Danny Mwanga stands 6'2". It'll be John Neeskins to take this one. It's near post, flicked on by Alundu, but it's gone backwards, and Zach Scott can clear it. Seattle holding their defensive line near the edge of the area as Hairston flicks it into the box. Headed away by the captain, Zach Scott, for Seattle. And then a back pass by Tristan Bowen. Calls for Hanneman to lash it quickly clear as Mwanga came to meet him. And Seattle tidy up in the left-back position with Kovar, leading 1-0. 13 minutes to the break. You're with SoundersFC.com. This reserves match at Starfire. Evans wins a tackle. Finds Okoli. Chance to move forward here for Seattle. Okoli through the legs of Watts, but running into a blind alley. And now Rose tidies up for the Sounders. Evans up to halfway. Picked off by Hairston for Colorado. Marvell Wynn from deep for the Rapids. Intercepted by Azira. Again, timing is challenged effectively for the Sounders. Bowen looking for Barrett. Wynn deflects it clear. And banged away by the Colorado right back, Courtney Ford. Bowen wins a throw in for the Sounders. Kovar will throw this one in. Looking all the while for Tristan Bowen, and then eventually when he does get there, it slides off Bowen's thigh and out of play. Throw in for Colorado, for Courtney Ford. And then it's Colorado who make a mess of things and give Seattle possession back. Chad Barrett's goal, the difference. Kovar throws in long. Bowen's made a good move in the area, gets to the byline, back for Cooper, misses it from 4 yards out under pressure from the goalkeeper Burner and whacked away by Marlon Hairston. Cooper got himself in an excellent position, just needed a touch with the goalkeeper bearing down on him, and it escaped and slipped through the area. Quick thinking by Kovar and Bowen to set that one up. And here comes Bowen again, fed by Barrett on the left touchline, level with the Colorado area. Pulls it back to Kovar. And Bowen is fouled out on the right by Marvell Wynn. And that will be a free kick for Seattle Sounders FC. Zach Scott and Jalil Anibaba will come up for this one. And as it has been all day, Aaron Kovar over it. A couple of years at Stanford for Kovar as he puts it far post. Rose wins a header over the bar. Far post from 5 yards out. He rose well, he rose high. Burner untroubled. First significant chance for the Sounders, along with that Cooper attempted flick since about the 16th minute. We're in minute 35 now. And Seattle Sounders FC lead it by a goal to nil. What you may have picked up in this game so far is the majority of the Sounders' chances have come from really good delivery from Aaron Kovar. I've been very impressed with his ability on dead balls and also from open play in this match. Brad Evans gets in to switch the play to his fellow fullback Kovar. And he's a slight diminutive figure, good balance though, very good left foot, and he's found Bowen down the flank. Holds onto the ball and now brings Evans into play with a crossfield square pass. Further down the line to Rose, looks up, far post ball towards Kenny Cooper, shoots and saved by John Burner. It was a tight angle for Cooper, who hit it first time with the side foot. Decent opportunity, good quality build-up again by the Sounders, switching the play from left to right and bringing the save out of the goalkeeper. It's corner number 5. Kovar will take it, floats it out, swinging style towards Okoli, headed away by Marvell Wynn, lobbed into the box by Bowen. It comes through the area. Chad Barrett said he was being held. Referee disinterested, and it will be a goal kick for Colorado Rapids, who trail the Sounders by a goal to nil with 9 minutes to the break. Short goal kick taken by John Burner for Jared Watts. Came on late yesterday in the first team match at CenturyLink Field, which I'm sure you know by now the Sounders won handsomely, 4 goals to 1. Some of the passing, movement, the interplay, the build-up from the Sounders going forwards was some of the best I've seen the Sounders play in their history. It was that good. Clint Dempsey, of course, inevitably at the heart of it. Here come the Sounders, 1-2 between Barrett and Cooper. Cooper in the area, and it's a very soft shot at the goalkeeper. It was tremendously well worked. Again, talking of the quick one-touch play, it was there in evidence. Cooper with a 1-2, back from Barrett. He should have lashed it, but it was a rather tame effort. And an excellent opportunity, 2 in a minute really, for Kenny Cooper. To the goalkeeper's credit, John Burner stood up tall, stood up for a long time and forced Cooper into the shot and managed to make a steady save. Fourth of the afternoon from John Burner. Colorado with a rare foray to the edge of the Sounders box. Hairston takes it down, gets a bump from Zach Scott, wanted a penalty. Nothing doing from referee Wilkins, and Marcus Hanneman will pick up in the Seattle goal and kick long to Barrett. Wins a header on towards Cooper in a battle with Griffiths. Griffiths gets there, swipes at it. Falls fortunately to Marvell Wynn, his fellow central defender, who then turns away from Chad Barrett and gives it short to Watts. Now Kamani Hill in the middle of the park, pressurised by Andy Rose. Feeds it to the defender Griffiths on the left-hand side. Crossfield ball for Alondu. Taking on Kovar. Kovar is cute, gets there ahead of him, but then is wrestled off the ball by Alondu, who comes into the area and runs into the path of Zach Scott, who wins the ball back for Seattle. And they clear. A goal to the good. 6 minutes to half-time at Starfire. Brenton Griffiths will start it again for Colorado Rapids. Up to halfway and Watts. Further forward low to Hairston. Skips away from Scott, who's taken a bang for his troubles. And then Alondu shoots from 28 yards wide. Doesn't trouble Marcus Hanneman. But the game will be stopped here as Zach Scott stays down, holding his face. I think as the Colorado player went past him, he took a whack, an inadvertent whack in the run of play. So we'll have a short break in play here. Marcus Hanneman using the opportunity to do some stretches in goal. Lying in his own 6-yard box as Zach Scott receives treatment. Well, on the bench for the Sounders today, not too many defensive names you will have heard of. The substitutes among the 7, the most notable one is Cam Weaver, who is a forward, of course. Zach Scott is up and hobbling. 5 minutes to half-time, so the Sounders may well see if he can play through this. Let him rest and recuperate to half-time, play with 10 men. It is, of course, after all, a reserves match, so not the same prerogative to get 3 points. Not about the wins in Reserve League football, they're always nice. But no need to take any undue risks. We're back underway. Zach Scott is walking down the touchline here, so Seattle will play with 10 men for the moment. Brad Evans has dropped to central defence. Azira to right back. And Zach Scott is back on as Danny Mwanga picks up the ball down the right wing for Colorado. Gets away from his man, Annie Barbar. Puts it to the far post beyond everybody. Alondu recovers for Colorado. Behind him now is Neeskins. Infield to Hairston, taking on Brad Evans. Getting into the box. And now the support from Azira, who puts it behind for a corner. The third of the game for Colorado. What you notice is Marlon Hairston, every time he picks the ball up facing the goal, he's able to make something happen. John Neeskins with the corner for the Rapids. Near post, and Brad Evans heads it away. Comes out to Kamani Hill. It's a weak effort from 25 yards. Comfortably caught by Marcus Hanneman and bowled out towards Bowen, who loses the ball after it bounces towards him. And it's taken away by Giovanni Chavez, and Colorado will build from deep again. Coming up at half-time, we'll have a chat with Dylan Remick, Seattle Sounders defender, who got a very good 90 minutes under his belt yesterday, coming in for the injured Leo Gonzalez. It was his 5th start of the season. Seattle have only played 8 games. Another impressive performance by the second-year fullback. We'll get his thoughts on his progression, on the Sounders' hot start to the season, and what he'd like to achieve through 2014. Seattle lead 1-0 in this Reserve League match at Starfire against Colorado Rapids. You're with SoundersFC.com. I'm Ross Fletcher. And now the Sounders coming forward to Kenny Cooper. Holds off Alondu. Back heels it towards Brad Evans. Turned now to play by Neeskins. A trialist. And then Chad Barrett somehow manages to overhit his return pass for Evans from the throw-in. Goes out to play for a Colorado throw. Up towards halfway, Evans gets ahead on it, and Barbar flicks it clear. And now Andy Rose gets ahead on it. Scott out to the left back, Kovar on the half volley, miscues it. It's Shanks just behind the vacant stand on the far side of the field. And a throw for Colorado, taking quickly to Hill, who's beaten off the ball by Bowen. Infield to Okoli. Plenty of runners here. Out to the left wing, and Kenny Cooper gets to the byline. 3 in the box. Back on his favourite right foot. Peels it behind him, 30 yards to Kovar, who goes past his man and can cross now. Level with the area, near post it goes. Griffiths clears for Colorado. Falls to Marvell Wynn. And Colorado can push the ball calmly out of harm's way. Seattle almost staccato style there, bursting into life. So too the Rapids, and it's that man Marlon Hairston down the inside right channel. He's trying to torture Zach Scott, gets a low shot in near post, doesn't fully hit it, and it's taken by Hanneman. But again, Marlon Hairston is the menace. 44th minute, that shot. It stays Seattle Sounders 1 goal to the good. Andy Rose coming forwards to the edge of the area, and Cooper shapes up, beats his man, goes past the second, taken down on the edge of the area, and it's a free kick for Seattle right on the edge of the box. For a moment, Cooper, who ended up falling into the area, was wondering about a penalty. But on the stroke of half-time, it's an excellent opportunity for Seattle to try to double their lead. Well, Cooper's had a couple of good looks at goal from open play, but this free kick is made for a left foot, and it's made for the left foot of Aaron Kovar. It's just to the right of the D of the area. 5-man wall. Kovar left-footed just over the top of the bar. John Burner would not have had an earthly there. He was rooted to his line as Kovar whipped that one marginally over the left angle of post and bar. He does have lovely technique from dead ball situations. We've said that already today. Love to see him get more opportunities like that. We're into added time in the first half. 1-0 to Seattle Sounders reserves against Colorado Rapids. And Seattle with plenty of good looks at goal. And here again they break up the Colorado play inside the Rapids half. Azera flicks it left-hand side to the on-rushing Kovar. He's in a one-on-one situation, pulls back on his right boot, and the cross is deflected behind by the head of Giovanni Chavez. Corner number 6 for Seattle, and they'll get one more opportunity before the break. Every Colorado man back in the box. Annie Barbar and Rose at the far post for the Sounders. Cooper and Barrett lurking from 6 yards out. Kovar stabs it in, headed away by Jared Watts, and that's half-time. Seattle Sounders reserves leading Colorado Rapids reserves by a 1-0. Chad Barrett's header on 3 minutes the difference. From a corner that Annie Barbar flicked towards him, he made no mistake from very close range. Barrett had another couple of opportunities. Welcome back to Starfire. Ross Fletcher with you. Seattle Sounders reserves leading Colorado Rapids by a 1-0. I'd like to welcome into our booth Dylan Remick, who was heavily involved in that fine victory, the 4-1 victory over the Colorado Rapids yesterday. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. How are the legs? Recovered from yesterday?
They're getting there for sure. Yeah.
Are you one of these guys that does ice baths?
I do.
They look petrifying.
They're horrible. Yeah, there's nothing else about them. I do them occasionally, more before the game.
Your young limbs don't require them quite as much.
I'm
right?
holding on to that hope.
Yeah.
Just the young mentality. I can go no matter what.
Well, good for you. We were just mentioning it. 22, second year. You've got it all in front of you. What was it like to get back out there for the first team again yesterday?
Oh, it was awesome. Anytime you can play, especially at home in front of our fans, it's an amazing experience. And I got a taste of playing with the first team in the opening games, and then Leo came back, and so I was just working hard and hoping I could get back out there. Again, unfortunately, it was an injury, and we hope Leo gets healthy again. But I was enjoying taking advantage of the opportunity, and it was great to play.
I think that was a really important point you made there. You're enjoying the opportunity. When we've seen you out there, you're not like a second-year player, or at least an inexperienced guy coming in. It just seems like you've taken it in your stride. How have you been able to find your feet so quickly?
Yeah, I think my teammates have been really helpful in that category. I mean, I got to watch, DeAndre, start last year all year, and he helps a lot in terms of just, helping me stay calm, stay relaxed, and sort of just go with the flow. And then, all the guys around me, they're really helpful, in practice and in games, so they just make it easy to play. And at the end of the day, it's a soccer game, so it's something that I love to do, and everybody that's playing and watching loves. So it's got to be fun, or there's no point to it, right?
It was fun yesterday. I think that word was thrown around quite a lot from a lot of the players and coaches. The 4-1 victory. What was it like to be a part of that?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, going into the game, I think we all had remembered the thrashing that they gave us last year, and
when you made your debut as a substitute, when the damage had already been done.
Exactly. So that was nice. But yeah, so we all had a little taste of that, and we sort of wanted to give them a little taste of getting thrashed. But I mean, it was just a really fun game to play. I mean, things were clicking.
Yeah, why did it click so well?
I don't know. I mean, I think we've been playing some good soccer in the past few games. I mean, we've been scoring goals, but we've been having to come from behind, so it's been a little bit more hectic, a little bit more, high-paced than yesterday. We sort of just got into a rhythm. I mean, the goal at the end of the half really helped us, gave us motivation in the second half, and then 2 quick goals from Clint. But I just think everyone's just on the same page right now. I mean, especially Clint and Oba. You can see they just have a mind of their own.
Incredible, isn't it?
And feet of their own. It's ridiculous. It's fun to watch during the game.
What's it like facing it in training?
It's terrifying in training. I mean, my goal is not to get embarrassed in training, but it helps a lot in training too, because you play against guys like that and guys like Ozzy and Brad and like all these great players, and you understand what they're going to do, and you're playing against the best in training, so you're not going to have to play against somebody significantly better in a game. So it sort of helps us prepare for who we're going to play, and sort of again relaxes us for the game, especially me. Yeah,
and we had a chat on the Sounders TV pregame show, and I asked you, how do you balance your attacking instincts with the need to defend, as you are a left-sided defender? It seemed that you found that balance yesterday. You were able to join in with the attack, but also on your side keep things shut down. How pleased were you to be able to do that?
I was very pleased. I mean, again, it was just one of those things where defense is first, and that was a priority. And I thought we played pretty well defensively besides the lapse in the goal, but I mean, they didn't have too many opportunities besides that. And so once that was flowing and clicking, and we were getting good possession of the ball, we were moving it around. I'm just going to take my opportunity when it arises and go forward whenever I can, because I mean that's the fun part, right? Love to get forward in the attack and help out when I can. So yesterday was a good balance between defending first and then getting up in the attack, and I hope to just build off that.
And looking at the season as a whole, you've started 5 of the 8 games this year. You started the first 4. You came in for Leo Gonzalez. What's next for you? Is it kick Leo to keep you in for another couple of weeks or so?
Yeah, well, talk to the trainers, give them a little money under the table. The next thing for me is just to keep working as hard as I can and to keep improving my game. And I always want to be an option, no matter who's healthy. If everyone's healthy, I still want to be an option to start in a game. And I think my skill sets are starting to show. And just the next one is just to be a consistent starter and to play as long as I can.
And we talked about your engine also yesterday. You were a 400-meter track runner. I've always forgotten to ask you what your fastest time was.
Yeah, my fastest
39.5, aren't you, Michael Johnson-esque?
I wish. I don't know if I'd be playing soccer if I was that fast, going to the Olympics. My fastest open 400 was a 48.6, and I ran that at a state meet. So
that is pretty grease lightning.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that was a good day. I felt fast on that day.
Well, you could kick Leo, and then you can get away.
Just run away, exactly.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff.
The plan's already in motion.
Well, great to see you. Great job yesterday. Two more at home, so keep it rolling, eh?
Thanks, yeah. We'll keep it going. Thanks for having me up here.
Top man. Dylan Remick joining us here on SoundersFC.com, playing his part in that 4-1 thumping of Colorado Rapids yesterday, which was a joy to watch for all Sounders FC fans. And as I mentioned, coming up next is another home game against Philadelphia Union. That one is a 7 o'clock Saturday game. You can watch that game on Q13 Fox. We'll also have the radio call on 97.3 Cairo FM. And then the Saturday after is the Wednesday after is another home game. FC Dallas, who lost yesterday to DC United, and they took a beating by 4-1. Dallas ending the game with 9 men. So they were top. Sounders have now eclipsed them on wins. Goals scored are pretty even, but Seattle are nudging ahead of FC Dallas. They beat them, of course, down in Frisco not so long ago, 3-2. So good stuff from the Sounders. Now, I saw the Colorado Rapids players come out on the field. I thought the Sounders players had come out, but clearly not. I could have chatted to Dylan for a bit longer, but he's gone back. He's readying himself to watch, and that's always a nice thing as well when the reserves games have come around, to be able to come down and support their fellow players. Dylan Remick here. I know DeAndre Yedlin and a few of the others who played yesterday are in support of their teammates. Now, talking of teams that have had a bit of a rough time of it, Portland Timbers are still yet to win a match this season. Their latest game, a 1-1 draw with Houston Dynamo down in Houston itself. So that means Portland Timbers are one of only a select few teams yet to win this season. Chicago Fire, another of those who had a bye week. Problems for them. San Jose yesterday getting their first win of the season against Chivas USA. And Yannick Jallo, who looks a little terror of a talent, fleet of foot and very good on the ball, scoring their only goal with a wonderful far post finish. I mentioned the other scores. Well, DC United beating FC Dallas, a 9-man FC Dallas by 4-1. New England Revolution with 2 injury time goals to beat a depleted Sporting Kansas City, 2-0. KC had Aurelian Collin sent off. Columbus Crew in New York finishing 1-1. Vancouver, the comeback kids, they were 2-0 down until the final 5 minutes at Real Salt Lake, before 2 quick goals right at the last. A couple of errors from Nick Raimondo, uncharacteristic of the RSL goalkeeper, helping Vancouver to claim a point. Real Salt Lake, under new head coach Jeff Cassar, are still unbeaten. I mentioned San Jose beating Chivas USA yesterday by 1-0, and Houston Dynamo 1, Portland Timbers 1 this afternoon. By the way, Portland coming from behind there to claim a point. So the Sounders reserves are back out for this second half, and there are a couple of changes on both teams, so I'll work through those as I can. And the Sounders have brought Fabio Pereira on, I can tell you for one. And the man to go off was Michael Azira. So the Sounders 1-0 to the good. In fact, Azira's over at right back, so I'll check that. And it's Brad Evans who has come off after 45 minutes. So the Sounders on the attack, going from right to left as we look here at Starfire, the back of the main stand. Attacking the goal to where the trains are rumbling behind. Another one coming now. Down the right-hand side, Azira, who switched to right back with Brad Evans going off. Now Sean Coley getting towards the corner flag, tackled by Brenton Griffiths. And that is a throw-in for Seattle Sounders FC. So the changes for Colorado Rapids. Ender O'Neill has come on. And the man who's made way was arguably the most impressive Rapids of that first half, Marlon Hairston. It's thrown into the box for the Sounders. It bounces. Jared Watts gets ahead on the ball for Colorado and cleared away by Griffiths. Not very far. Taken over on the right wing by Chad Barrett. In now for Pereira. Tickles it to the right. And he barbars up as a winger. Good ball, far post. Bowen with a shot. And he completely whiffs on it. It was a volley under pressure from the defender, Courtney Ford. And he completely missed the ball. By the way, the Colorado sub, Ender O'Neill, is the brother of Shane O'Neill, who started in central defence for Colorado yesterday. One of their other brothers is a kicker in the college football team. So a real stalwart family of sporting stars. 1-0 to the Sounders reserves then. Chad Barrett with the goal on 3 minutes. We play 47 overall. Sounders with Marcus Hanneman in goal. Their back four now looks like this. Michael Azira on the right. Aaron Cover on the left. Zach Scott and Jaleel Anibaba in the middle. In midfield, you've got Fabio Pereira and Andy Rose in the middle. Tristan Bowen out on the left-hand side. And Sean Coley on the right. And up front, Chad Barrett and Kenny Cooper. Seattle win a free kick in the middle of the park for a foul on Tristan Bowen. Colorado Rapids then. John Berner in goal. Their back four from right to left is Courtney Ford, Marvell Wynn, John Neeskins, and Joe Nasco, who has come on. In fact, Joe Nasco has come on in goal, so Berner has come out. Only playing 45 minutes. Continue that in a moment with Seattle in possession. Michael Azira down their right-hand side now. Seattle into Chad Barrett, who is pulled down by Kamani Hill, and that will be a free kick for the Sounders. So Joe Nasco in goal for Colorado. Back four, Courtney Ford, Marvell Wynn, Brenton Griffiths and John Neeskins. Ender O'Neill moving into the right-hand side of midfield. Giovanni Chavez, Jared Watson, Charles Alondo in there with Danny Mwanga and Kamani Hill up front. This free kick for the Sounders is just around 30 yards out, right of centre. Aaron Kovar over it. There's a three-man wall as Kovar stabs it high. Far post, free header for Cooper into Rose. 4 yards out, got it all wrong and headed it back from where it came. And it was a very good opportunity to score. Almost like Obafemi Martins yesterday at CenturyLink Field. He couldn't crane his neck around it. It was a very good chance. And how Kenny Cooper found all that space at the far post, I don't know. But again, excellent delivery from Aaron Kovar. Now Zach Scott defending in the left-back area for the Sounders. Puts it out of play. Thrown in for Colorado Rapids by Ender O'Neill. Turned out of play by Andy Rose. Off a Colorado man last, and that will be a Sounders throw in. The referee, Josh Wilkins, stopping the play for some treatment for Zach Scott, who you'll remember went down late in the first half and came back on. I think his day here is done, Zach Scott. He's starting to walk towards the sidelines. And yeah, sad sight for Zach Scott. Particularly in a reserve match, you hate to see players go down injured. He hands over the captain's armband, and Chad Barrett will now wear it. And Zach Scott's day is done, the 13-year Seattle soccer professional. So we'll see this change being made. So Zach Scott goes off. So Matthew Renneker is on. The youngster into the Sounders fray. And he'll go in central defence. Colorado in possession along their back line. Out of play though, and it's a throw for Seattle. Kovar with the left foot. On halfway to Rose. First time ball forwards is turned away by Ender O'Neill. Now Alondo sweeping it, but the Sounders can get it. Here's Kenny Cooper in the box and tried to lob the goalkeeper Joe Nascu, who came out as Sean Okoli played it through to him. Really good move again by the Sounders, and Cooper finding space in the area. The ball bouncing high. More difficult for Cooper to really get his foot wrapped around that one. Another good chance. 52nd minute. Sounders continue to lead it by a goal to nil. Colorado Rapids have a throw in down their left-hand side with Kamani Hill. You're with SoundersFC.com. John Neeskens almost bumbling forwards, stumbles over. Seattle can get the ball back, but then Colorado keep hold. Forced inside their own half. Marvell Wynn. Now forced to the right by Watts. And the youngster Ford goes back with a poor bouncing ball to his keeper Joe Nasco, who makes an awful mess of it. Luckily for him, it falls to Marvell Wynn, who tidies things up. Now Danny Mwanga, some space in the middle of the park for Colorado. Carries it forwards. Lays it left-hand side for the fullback John Neeskens, who's well forward. Left football through the area. It'll fall to Ender O'Neill, who miscontrols it out of play. And a goal kick for the Sounders. Josh Ford is now in goal for Seattle. First round supplemental draft pick from UConn in 2011. So even by my own poor maths, that's his 4th season now. Yet to make a senior appearance, Josh Ford. He's had a series of knee problems. Good to see him healthy coming into 2014 and getting a run out today. 1-0 to the Sounders reserves. Here's Jalil Anibaba. Playing it forwards, it cannons off Ender O'Neill. And Anibaba wins the throw in. 10 yards over halfway on the Sounders left. Now Bowen, but after the play, Fabio Pereira was taken down by Jared Watts. That'll be a free kick for the Sounders, and Pereira's feeling that one. Late challenge, nothing malicious in it from Watts, but a free kick for Seattle. And an opportunity again to see this lovely left foot of Aaron Kovar's. In comes the cross, testing one. It's headed clear by Ford for Colorado. Sounders go back to the last man, Azira. Try to play it down the right line for Bowen. It's picked off by John Neeskens, and now Kamani Hill will attack down the inside left. If he can switch the player, Ender O'Neill's in some space. He's there on the right-hand side, the Colorado sub. Cuts in field. Seattle have plenty of men back. He's found Watts. Now Neeskens gets a lucky bounce, keeps on going. Taking on Rose, who does enough to stop his flow. Colorado come again down the right with Ford. Crossing deep, looking for Alondo. It's Tristan Bowen's ball all the way, and he calmly goes back to Josh Ford, who batters one long with the wind in the Sounders' favour now, carrying it long all the way through via a touch from a Colorado defender. Griffiths to the goalkeeper Nasco, who bowls it quickly to halfway. Alondu lays it off to Hill in the middle of the park, being hounded by the all-action Andy Rose. The Rapids along their back line. It's a risky crossfield pass by Griffiths and given away. The interception made by Barrett. It falls to Fabio Pereira, the young drafty Brazilian. Up towards Cooper, takes it down on the inside right channel, shows too much of it to Griffiths. And away comes Brenton Griffiths, and that ball is then slammed out of play by the Colorado man for a Sounders throw in. They continue to lead 1-0, 10 minutes gone second half. Cooper from the throw in, heads it in field. Jared Watts is there for Colorado to calmly nod it to his goalkeeper Nasco. Now picked up by Jared Watts from deep, base of that midfield for Colorado. Ford, flicking it forwards. And then Josh Ford, the other Ford on the field now, the Seattle goalkeeper, can claim that one. Hit long down the left by Aaron Kovar. Miss hit. Out comes Nasco, the goalkeeper. Gives it short for Marvell Wynn, who'll carry the ball forwards. One of the fastest players in Major League Soccer, Marvell Wynn. We were talking to Dylan Remick a few moments ago about him doing a 48.6 for 400 metres. Marvell Wynn ran the 100 metres at high school in 10.39 seconds, which is outstanding. Probably seen whenever you've watched a Colorado Rapids game. If ever he gets out of position, he's not out of position for long because of that speed. Here's Bowen ranging down the right for Seattle Sounders reserves. Loses out though to Giovanni Chavez. And Watts comes away for Colorado. Over halfway down the middle to Hill, who's peeled away from his man. Up to Mwanga, gets away from Pereira. He's got a man outside of him, Mwanga doesn't see him. And Jalilani Barbar tackles strongly and finds Pereira, and the counter-attack is on. Long diagonal ball down the left wing to Barrett. His back heel keeps it in, but at the expense of giving up possession, and Colorado will come away. Game opening up in the last few moments. Hill to the left-hand side now, and a chance for Chavez to attack. Right foot driving shot, and it's turned over the bar by Josh Ford. Straight at him. Solid hands by the goalkeeper. And that's corner number 4 for Colorado Rapids, and their 5th shot on goal. Sounders with 5 shots on goal themselves, but 12 shots overall. 59th minute. It's a corner from the left-hand side, which the fullback Neeskins takes. That's headed behind for another corner. So make that 5 corners in total now. This time it'll be Kamani Hill to take the corner. And again, the Sounders trainer is called on. So I'll have a brief break in play as Chad Barrett is down. Collision from the corner, it must have been. Didn't see it through a thicket of bodies. More Sounders players warming up away to our left. Plenty of youngsters waiting eagerly for their chance. Barrett staying down. He was the energetic presence for the early goal for the Sound. He's got it on 3 minutes. He also hit a chance into the side netting in the 16th minute. He'll come off for this corner, as is the FIFA directive, before coming back on, just wiping his face with his jersey. It looks to be okay. But I think the Sounders don't want to take any chances. Barrett is he indicating he's done, or is he saying hold off on the substitute? Either way, it will be Cam Weaver to come in for Chad Barrett. And again, we talked about the strength and depth of this Seattle Sounders FC side. Cam Weaver, who got a lot of playing time last year with a very good Houston Dynamo team, is coming on in a reserves match. 22 games and 2 goals last year for Houston Dynamo. Nice to be able to call on someone of his caliber in this situation. The corner's cleared well by Seattle, and it's fallen to Bowen, who's battling away with Marvell Wynn, who does well to strongly win it back. And now back to Kamani Hill on the left, who cuts in field, circles around a couple of players. His weak shot is blocked on the edge of the area by Jalil Baba. And Seattle clear it to halfway. Picked up again by John Neeskins. Switch to the right, and Watts. Ender O'Neill is outside him. Instead he comes in field to Mwanga, looking for Hill in the area. Seattle smother that through ball and whack it clear to halfway once more. Hour gone, just over. The Sounders leading Colorado 1-0 in this MLS Reserve League match at Starfire. You're with SoundersFC.com. This is Jared Watts. Falls to Rose from a miscued pass from the youngster. A rookie out of Wake Forest, Jared Watts, 22 years of age. Made his full debut against Sporting Kansas City. Started 3 games in Major League Soccer. Thrown for Colorado. In their right back position, the academy player Courtney Ford will take it. Up to Mwanga. Hasn't really been involved in the game. Ender O'Neill takes a tumble, loses possession, no free kick. Seattle get it moving quickly. Rose to Okoli, drifts beautifully past his man, down the middle of the park, plenty to beat, lays it left-hand side. Weaver's first time ball, far post, looking for Kenny Cooper. No pace on the ball though, and it hung up invitingly for Joe Nasco in goal to catch. And he quickly gets Colorado going down the left. Hill over halfway to Alundu now, cuts in field, gets to the edge of the area, peels it into the box to Mwanga, takes a touch, gets past his man, and Ibaba shoots off the post and in. And Danny Mwanga equalises for Colorado Rapids. It was a good finish, some neat footwork in the area. I mentioned he was yet to come alive in this game. He's just done so. 63rd minute, Seattle Sounders reserves 1, Colorado Rapids reserves 1. And it was tenacious work by Mwanga. Colorado starting the play quickly, building quickly from the back. Hill out to the left-hand side. In it came. And Alundu finding Danny Mwanga, who showed strength and a bit of craft. And it was an unerring finish, which Josh Ford could do nothing about. So in terms of a contest, it's game on again. Rose from halfway for Seattle. Long one into the area for Weaver. Really good ball. Heads it down. Gets to the byline. Calling for a handball. Nothing given by the referee. Said it wasn't intentional. It's a corner instead for the Sounders. Number 7 of the day. They got their goal from a corner early on from Chad Barrett, who's just gone off. Coming on, though, in his place, the towering Cam Weaver at 6'4". Has power and real precision with his headers. Weaver hanging around the penalty spot, far post corner. Anibaba heads it back into the 6-yard area and caught by Joe Nasco. Well, Anibaba has proven his effectiveness from set pieces. It was his header turned in by Kenny Cooper at Portland Timbers earlier in the season for that first goal in the Cascadia Cup matchup. Seems so long ago since that one, and Clint Dempsey's hat-trick. Such has been the glut of goals that Seattle Sounders have scored in the Major League Soccer season. Anibaba with the assist on the goal today. And proving effective again just back then. 26 minutes to play, 1-1 here. Andy Rose. Into Weaver, edge of the area with his back to goal, being forced backwards by some good defensive pressure. And now Kovar down the left line for Okoli. Holds off his man. In towards the corner flag. And nibbled out of play by Courtney Ford. That throw in for the Sounders, 5 yards from the left corner flag. Into Rose. Peels it back for Pereira. All right footed. Into Okoli. Poor touch. Jared Watts comes away. Finds Mwanga, and Okoli brings down his man for a Colorado free kick midway inside their own half. So a reminder, in Major League Soccer, Seattle Sounders leading the way. 16 points from their 8 games so far, a return of 2 points a game, which is a fine, fine return. They're 5-2-1. And picking up the home form at the right time. Offside on Danny Mwanga, and that will be a free kick for Seattle Sounders. And the Sounders came into yesterday's game in good form, but not at home. They'd lost the previous 2 home games. Never lost 3 in a row before, and they put that to bed again in stunning fashion. A 4-1 win, 2 goals for Clint Dempsey. Again, a real catalyst over Femi Martins getting in on the act. Lamar Nagel too. Dempsey and Martins combining in what is quickly becoming trademark fashion. Pulling Colorado Rapids all over the field. It was an absolute treat for the 38,500 who were in attendance. 1-1 here though in this reserve league match. Just over 24 hours after. Jared Watts winning ahead of Colorado to the edge of the Seattle box. Nodded away by Matt Renneker, the sub. Now Colorado picking up again on halfway with Brenton Griffiths. And then the Rapids lose out. It's a Sounders throw on halfway. Still the reserves coach, Ezra Hendrickson, standing on the edge of his technical area. Hands clasped behind his back. Colorado win a free kick in the middle of the park. See Marcus Hanneman just gently ambling behind the goal, having come off for Josh Ford. And the rain has started now, gently spattering onto the corrugated iron roof above us, and of course down onto the field. Okoli slipped and lost possession. Colorado inside the Sounders half with Alundu up towards Mwanga, the goal scorer. It's broken for Kamani Hill through the middle, 25 yards out. Now to the right wing and Ender O'Neill. It's gone slightly behind him. Controls though, his right foot cross hits the shoulder of Aaron Kovar and goes out for a throw in near the right corner flag as Colorado attack. It'll be Ender O'Neill to throw in. Headed away at the near post by Matt Renneker. And now a long clearance towards Cam Weaver. Defender Griffiths has made a mess of this. Weaver can pick up, waiting for support. Down towards the corner flag and then shoved in the back by Marvell Wynn. And the call is the other way. Well, Cam Weaver was shielding the ball as the defender had slipped. Marvell Wynn came in and just pushed his man over. But somehow the corner's gone, not for a free kick rather, but a throw in for Colorado. Seattle then win it back. Sean Okoli is battered down on the edge of the box by Ender O'Neill, and this will be a free kick right on the corner of the area. And a chance again for Seattle to try and re-establish their lead. One it is. It'll be Aaron Kovar over this one. Haven't seen him put a poor ball in today. 69th minute. Kovar flicking it in. Double-fisted punch away by Nasco. Pereira hits one from 25 yards wide. Hits it hard and low, but not going to trouble the goalkeeper. And we stay even at a goal apiece. Colorado are now making a change. So Jared Watts is off. And the man who is coming on to take his place is Miles Chow. Jared Watts, as we mentioned earlier, one of those players who played some minutes off the bench for Colorado yesterday. He came in a difficult position. The Rapids 4-1 down. So Miles Chow is on in his place in central midfield. His first action is to be beaten by a Andy Rose header from the goal kick for Colorado. It's inside the Rapids half. Headed out of play by Giovanni Chavez. Throw in on the right for Seattle. 20 minutes to play. Cooper flicking on to Cam Weaver. Now Kenny Cooper on the right wing, taking on his defender, getting past him to the byline. It stops there on the line. It's a real physical tussle between the pair, and eventually it's over physical from Kenny Cooper, who concedes the free kick. Cooper, another of those players who's been in good form for the first team. 2 goals and an assist. Starting today. Very soon, Clint Dempsey will be leaving the Pacific Northwest for Brazil. He's Brazil bound with the US national team. There'll be the training camp first, which eats into a fair chunk of Major League Soccer time. Clint Dempsey only around for another 3 MLS matches before he departs for a good month plus. So it will offer the opportunity for the likes of Kenny Cooper to come in and play minutes again for the first team. Aaron Kovar from left back for Seattle. Up to Rose, just shy of halfway. High long ball towards Tristan Bowen rather, who's on the right wing. It's headed back by a Rapids defender to goalkeeper Joe Nasco, and he'll take his time before picking it up. But yes, you look at the Sounders squad, we mentioned the tremendous strength in depth. Kenny Cooper will look to benefit from Clint Dempsey going. Brad Evans also expected to be in that US national squad, so that may well offer opportunities for the likes of Gonzalo Pineda to continue his run in the Sounders team. So too Lamar Nagel and Marco Papa. That competition for places, I'm sure, is one of the reasons why Seattle have started so well this year. There's always somebody ready, willing and able to take your place. Kovar to Okoli for Seattle, left edge of the Colorado area, into Cooper. Into the box he goes, and it's an overhit pass. You have Bowen wide on the right. Not quite sure who he was looking to pick out there, but it ends up being a goal kick. And then Courtney Ford, the young Rapids Academy defender, getting into some afters. And the referee just having a word with him and Sean Okoli. So it'll be a goal kick for Colorado. Fewer chances in this second half coming for either side. Andy Rose with a near post header, and Kenny Cooper, who got in behind with an attempted lob. The best for the Sounders. For Colorado, they had the goal through Danny Mwanga in the 63rd minute. And also Giovanni Chavez with a hard drive that Josh Ford comfortably tipped over. 1-1. Here's Andy Rose, an industrious run down the left wing. Carries him fully 40 yards forwards. Sean Okoli takes it on the inside left channel. Infield to Weaver, overhits his return pass. Colorado away. Weaver battles to recover possession, but runs into Kamani Hill. And now here come Colorado. Chavez tackled well by Azira, who's at right back now. Seattle attack down the right wing with Cooper. Flicked in field, it comes off John Neeskins, and that will be another corner for the Sounders. Number 9. Number 8. Number 8, says our official statistician. I'm agreeing with him. He just doesn't know how to put a single line in a column, that's all. They all look smudged. We'll work on that through the season. Sounders corner from the right. Tristan Bowen takes it, comes through to Kenny Cooper, who shoots on the half volley over. 14 yards out, it fizzed. And it fizzed a couple of yards over the bar. That was a chance. Cooper's got himself in some really good situations today. Sounders still showing they've got plenty in the tank. Smash long for Colorado. Annie Barbar clears up down the middle. It's a long ball that finds Okoli. Heads on. Brenton Griffiths is there for Colorado. Then hacked high forwards by Marvell Wynn towards the centre circle. Falls from Mwanga. Ender O'Neill playing it backwards. And now Miles Chow, a small but stocky looking substitute midfielder. Barely looks like he's shaved yet, Miles Chow. Very young. Aaron Kovar. Up to Okoli, back to Pereira, all inside the Colorado half. Work well now to Bowen in space down the middle. He looks up and shoots, and it's into the trees behind the goal and over the fence towards the railway line. But well worked by the Sounders. Some one-touch play opening up the space there as Bowen moved into the middle. Couldn't find his shooting boots, but again, approach work was decent. 15 minutes to play. 1-1 between the reserve sides of the Sounders and Colorado. Here is SoundersFC.com. Now Mwanga down the left-hand side, and there's a collision between Michael Azira and Giovanni Chavez, and Chavez wins the free kick. Behind the play, Courtney Ford is stretching out the Colorado right back. He's okay. This free kick is wide left for the Rapids. 15-20 yards inside the Sounders half. Every Sounder behind the ball. Taken by Nieskins to the edge of the area. Free header away for Matt Renneker, the Seattle sub, the central defender. Renneker, an under-18 player from Mill Creek, who's committed to Davidson College. Mwanga takes a tumble near the byline. No foul. Goal kick Seattle. The rain starts up a little heavier once more. Luckily for all the Sounders fans, they're undercover here at Starfire. It's a very cute facility. Always the home of some rip-roaring US Open Cup ties through the first 4 or 5 years of the Sounders' existence. Love seeing Starfire fall for US Open Cup, with the first round expected in and around the MLS bye week during the World Cup. Okoli's gone out of play here, throwing for the Rapids. The US Open Cup this year has a record number of entries, down to the higher level of amateur teams who are involved in the competition. That's great to see as well, the burgeoning status of the amateur as well as professional level of US soccer. The 16 US MLS sides enter in the 4th round. Of course, the Canadian teams can't take place for obvious reasons. And the first round will be played between the 10th and the 17th of June. Yet to find out, of course, who the Sounders' opponents are, with the first round not yet underway. Seattle have a free kick here. Some 25 yards inside the Colorado half. Inside left channel, and Aaron Kovar will take it. 12 minutes to play, 1-1 here. Plenty up. Kovar springs it high to the far post for Andy Rose. Wins his header back across goal. Okoli with an overhead kick as the ball wouldn't come down for him. It's wide and high. Athleticism shown by the young rookie. And it stays 1-1. And again, the Sounders aerially dominant from set pieces. 16th attempt today. 5 of those on target. Ford, the fullback for Colorado, weak clearance. Forced to Fabio Pereira on the left-hand side for Seattle. Shoved off the ball by the very strong Marvell Wynn. Almost gazelle-like, ranges forwards. Now Kamani Hill laces a lovely ball to the left wing. And it's Charles Alondu slipping as he tries to take on his defender. That allows Seattle to bang it clear through Michael Azira. And now a break is on, given away by Colorado. Weaver to the right and Cooper. Okoli joining in. Cooper into the area on the right. Pulls it back towards Aaron Kovar. Thought about a shot for a moment. Plays a 1-2 instead. It's a heavy return ball by Okoli. And that allows Miles Chow to clear the danger for the Rapids. And now a break is on. It's Giovanni Chavez. It's 2-on-2. Flicks it over a defender. Into the area for Alondu. And it's well out by Josh Ford to catch the ball. Alondu tried to lob him. I don't think he realised Ford had made such good ground on him. It was a terrific chance for Colorado to potentially win the game. Well done, Josh Ford. Stood tall, stood big, made a vital save. Seattle down the other end now. Kovar, left foot ball into the area, comes out to Okoli, who drives it wide. First time on his left foot from 16 yards. It was a presentable opportunity. The game again just widening, opening up in the last few moments. At the first team level, we've talked about how the Sounders have instilled that ethic of always battling to the end and fighting to get results. You can see the ethos is maintained at reserve level. Throw for Colorado. It's beyond the man who just had that chance, Charles Ilundu. And out for a goal kick. Ilundu, who spent just over a year in limbo, having been signed by the Rapids, but wasn't released by the Cameroonian FA. There was a tug of war between the football associations, the governing bodies of US and Cameroonian soccer, over where Ilundu would end up. All along, the Rapids were sure that they had the right paperwork and had filed it. His club, though, Charles Ilundu, a tiny Cameroonian club called AS Fortuna, will break off as here he is in the area, cutting back on his man, forcing another good save from Ford. Really good goalkeeping as he got down to clear it away with his feet. Ilundu jinking inside from the inside left channel. But Ilundu, playing for a tiny Cameroonian club called AS Fortuna, wanted a bit more money from European clubs. It wasn't that way. Here's another chance, though. This is Chavez this time, jinking away from two in the box, and again a good save. Well, Josh Ford is earning his corn here as a second half sub. That is three really good saves. And now the Sounders attacking down the left with Bowen into the area looking for Cam Weaver, and it slides through to the goalkeeper. And Joe Nasco will kick it quickly out. Pace of the game quickening with 8 minutes to go. It's 1-1 here at Starfire between the Sounders and Rapids reserves. Kenny Cooper's taken a tumble, fouled by John Neeskins, and that will be a yellow card for accumulation of fouls. And a free kick for the Sounders, level with the area on the right-hand side, 6 or 7 yards in from the touchline. Weaver is far post, so is Cooper. Andy Rose is in there, as is Jalilani Barbar. Height and power in the air for the Sounders. They've exploited it well today. Kovar, it's the first one he's mishit, but it's scudded through the area. Comes back towards Andy Barber, who can't control. Colorado have made a mess of clearing their lines. Bowen jinks past his man. Right wing cross, near post, away by the Athletic win. Headed back in by Pereira. Comes out to Weaver, leaves it for Cooper. Left edge of the box, looks up, tries a shot. Blocked away by Ender O'Neill. And then Pereira tried to flick it wide again, but mishit it. And now Colorado will come away down their left with Chavez, releasing Ilundu, who's sparked up in the last 5 minutes. On the wing, a step over, cuts it into the area. It deflects back to him from Azira. Ilundu going the long way now, and he shoots. And again, it's blocked. And it comes out. And it's shot. A shot from Chow is also blocked. This time a cross is blocked by Bowen. Ilundu, left wing, pulls it back. Chow with a deep ball. Headed by Kamani Hill softly into the sticky palms of Josh Ford. Well, Colorado now with 12 attempts on goal. 5 saves from Josh Ford. 3 of them very good in the space of about 4 or 5 minutes. 1-1 with 5 minutes plus change to play. Marvell Wynn at the back for Colorado, into Miles Chow. Kamani Hill now turning and offering the ball for Ender O'Neill to run. A tackle with Kovar, deflects off Kovar last. Throw in for Colorado, 10 yards over halfway. Some of the younger members of the crowd starting to slip away here. The referee saying the throw was taken from too far forwards. So back they will come. Courtney Ford with the throw. Up to Mwanga, who scored the equaliser for the Rapids. Comes back to Ford, who smacks it hopefully down the line. It's too strong. And that's out for a goal kick. Ford takes the goal kick towards Weaver. Flicks on, out of play. Miscuing that one intended for Sean O'Coley. Shown flashes of his potential today. Kenny Cooper's had opportunities up front. Aaron Kovar's shown some very nice quality from set pieces and from wide positions. Jililani Barbar's had a fairly solid game. Four minutes to play. Here's Miles Chow then. Up to halfway for Colorado through the middle. Finds Mwanga. Played down the left to the fullback Neeskins. Into Alondu wide. Now Mwanga, a quick 1-2. Alondu's pace gets him in behind the back line into the area. Pulls across near post. It flicks off the back heel of Jililani Barbar. And it's corner number 6 for Colorado. You can see there Alondu has very good pace. And when Colorado get the ball moving, it was he and the half-time sub Marlon Hairston who have been causing the majority of the problems. Neeskins will have the corner. Left foot out swinger, not a good one. Fabio Pereira can scoop the ball clear, and now there's a break on. The only man forward is Bowen, but he's miscontrolled that one, and Colorado can get it away and find Alondu. Spins away from the defender. Burst of speed in the box. Left foot shot goes wide. He is a real live wire, Charles Alondu. You can see now, can't you, why Colorado wanted to persist for over a year in trying to sign their man. The 19-year-old who stands at 5'7", has played one international game for Cameroon. With a slightly better finishing, he could have helped himself to a couple of goals today. But it's 1-1 in the final 2. It's cut out by Matt Renneker for the Sounders. Now Kovar on the left, comes to halfway, low up to O'Coley. A 1-2 with Cam Weaver. O'Coley goes on, pulled down on the edge of the area by Courtney Ford. Dragged down as O'Coley was bursting towards the area, and O'Coley wants to have a word with Ford. The yellow card is out of the pocket of referee Josh Wilkins. And then the goalkeeper Joe Nasco throws the ball at a Sounder, and that will have to be dealt with as well by the referee. And in the final 2 minutes of this game, tempers are boiling over. It's a red card for Joe Nasco, and quite right too. Senseless from the goalkeeper. You cannot show that level of disrespect. He's trying to shake the hand of Sean O'Coley now, who puts his hands behind his back and walks away. And the referee leaving Colorado down to 10 men, and he's still dealing with the disciplinary issue of Courtney Ford. He had the yellow card out for him. And this game is ending in acrimony. So, Colorado have already substituted their goalkeeper. So for the final moments, somebody else is going to have to take the gloves. And they're just deciding who it's going to be. There have been a couple of very famous instances back in my homeland of outfield players taking the gloves and performing some heroics. I don't know if you'll know the name Robbie Savage, who was a Leicester City, Birmingham City and Derby County midfielder. Was known more for his mouth rather than his footballing abilities, but went in goal once against Reading, a very good second-tier team, and played very well for about half a game and made some great saves. They lost, but he enjoyed himself in goal. And now Brenton Griffiths will assume the responsibilities in goal for Colorado. This stoppage has put us into injury time, or stoppage time rather. Will Brenton Griffiths be tested? This is the big moment. I think I'm hearing 3 minutes. 3 minutes of stoppage time. There were 2 alone in that last incident. And including the subs, there's a case for more. Just want to see what this goalkeeper can do. I doubt he's ever had to wear a pair of goalkeeper gloves in his life. Brenton Griffiths, the 23-year-old, the Jamaican. He might have to deal with this free kick because it's right on the edge of the area for the Sounders. Left of centre, either Aaron Kovar to curl it to the far post for a header or Tristan Bowen to have a go. If I was a Sounder, I know what I'd do. With the reserve goalkeeper in. At least the goalkeeping jersey just about fits Brenton Griffiths. There's a 4-man wall. Bowen over it with the right boot, Kovar with the left boot. Whistle goes, Kovar puts it to Bowen, hits it low. They tried to shift it, it was deflected away by the Rapids back line. They do a good job of protecting their standing goalkeeper. And then a high kick from Kamani Hill going in. And on Matt Renneker, that's a clear free kick for Seattle. And they'll take their time. And there's going to be a substitution right at the end of this game. For the Sounders, it's Sean Coley who is coming out. Just involved in that flare-up a moment ago. And it's Henry Wingo who is coming on, another academy product. So I wonder whether Wingo will get a touch in this game because we're deep into the stoppage time. The Sounders have a free kick just shy of halfway. Kovar slams it high. Rose heads on into the area. Free header clear for Wynn for the Rapids. Rose nods it back to the D of the box. Cam Weaver turns his man. Wynn is there again to smash it high and away. Pereira controls out to the left-hand side and Bowen. 2-on-1 situation. Bowen curls it into the area. Headed across his own box by Neeskens. Pereira takes it in there. And chesting it down, he shows it to the defender. Only half away by Colorado as Bowen continues to go at it. It's come back to Kovar. And his right football this time goes high. And the first action for the goalkeeper, Brenton Griffiths, is to make an uncontested claim. And he made sure there that he was going to wrap his arms around the ball as he sunk to the floor. It's raining, it's not easy conditions, and it's easier said than done from where we're sitting. Final moments. Mwanga slams the ball forwards and it cannons off the chest of Tristan Bowen, who winces in immediate agony. And puffs his cheeks out, having sustained the blow. Throw in for Ender O'Neill for Colorado. And that will be it. 1-1 the final score between the Sounders and Colorado Rapids reserve. Seattle with a third-minute goal from Chad Barrett from a corner. Danny Mwanga equalising in the 63rd. Seattle having a series of good chances in the first half and early part of a second period. Colorado coming to life late. Josh Ford made some excellent stops to keep it at 1-1. And the Sounders Reserve League record now is 1 win and 1 draw. Thanks for being with us here at Starfire. I'm Ross Fletcher. We'll be back with you all through the week on SoundersFC.com to bring you the build-up for the next home game for the Major League Soccer season. Seattle will be home to Philadelphia Union this Saturday. You can watch it on Q13 Fox from 7 o'clock. Of course, Rave TV will bring you the latest in video interviews and features on SoundersFC.com. So, we'll be with you for that one and look forward to it. Thanks for being with us. Final score from Starfire. Seattle Sounders 1, Colorado Rapids 1.